sciences. Economic sciences. So altogether now there are total 6 different fields for which the Nobel Prize is always given away. And every year it is always declared in the month of October and November. Although it is declared in these 2 months, its process always start in the month of February. So from February it starts, but it is always being declared in October, November of each of the years. So you can consider these things which are very important, right? One more thing I will tell that what this exactly this one is, right? So the Nobel, he was a Swedish inventor and industrialist. Right? In fact, his name is Alfred Nobel. Alfred Nobel, basically an inventor and industrialist working in the field of chemistry. So here you can have now these 6 different fields or subjects for which it is always given away, and these awards are given by different academies established, right? So each of the subject is being cared by a different academy. In fact, for physics and chemistry, same academy is there. So it was for this economic sciences, you will be having the Sweden Central Bank. So that academy is looking for this one. So likewise, peacetime, and for literature, and for physics, chemistry, and medicine. So there are different academies for these different fields or the subjects. Now, in this case, if you see the one more thing I will tell you. Till certain years, it was being awarded even posthumously, but from till 1974, can award posthumously. But from 1974, it has stopped. No posthumous declaration is there. The case may be that if the award is declared and then later on the concerned awardee get dead, then it is always being conferred. But someone is not alive and then this has to be awarded. No, this has been stopped from 1974. But till again 1972, only for 2 different personalities it had been awarded, right? So I think one is for peace and another is in the field of literature. So I think in 1931 and 1961, to be more precise, in 1961 it was for the peace, and for 1931 it was for the literature. So this could be related to the Nobel Prize. Now, in this case, if you see that from 1901 till 2019, or we can consider only 2019. So for these many years, there might have been some of the years where when this particular prize might have not declared or might have not given away. So yes, there were different years for which it was not being conferred, but it is not that overall. So sometime nobody is from physics, if we consider, or in a specific year, from the category of the subject physics, this might not have been awarded. That doesn't mean that in other fields it is not, right? And therefore, in that particular fashion, it becomes little bit complicated. But since I belong to physics, I will just tell you one thing, that till now there are 7 different years. In these 7 different years, as far as physics is concerned, it has not been awarded. 16, 1916, 31, 40, 34, 40, 41 and 42. So consequently 40, 41 and 43. So these are the 3 years. On these 3 years, it was not being awarded for the physics. Likewise, for other subjects, the case is applied. Right? You should not worry about these things, or you should not pay the attention to this particular thing. Right? One more thing, the average age. Now see, very interesting thing. Average age till 2018, if you consider, of the awardees, which are called Nobel laureates. Right? The average age of awardees is around 60 years. Is around 60 years. That means now you can consider what could be the scenario of the awardees. So in which year they might be, right? If you consider their average year is 60 years, fine. So one more interesting thing is that most of the awardees are having their birthdays in the month of June only. So whether you have to consider these as the correct date of birth or like the wrong one, that would be a different case. But most of the awardees are having their date of, their date of birth in the month of June. Okay. So here there might be case that then who could be the youngest one in this particular case, or is there any youngest? No doubt. If I consider average 60, so someone, let's say 50, and if I say 48, so 48 could be youngest, right? So youngest in this is of 17 years, and which was given for the peace in 2014, right? In fact, it was jointly shared by Mr. Kailash Satyarthi, and probably till now you might have got the name. And the name of that awardee is Malala Yousafzai. Yousafzai from Pakistan. So 16 years and few days girl was fighting related to the school education of the children. I will be telling you story later on. So she got awarded the Nobel Prize for Peace, and she is the youngest one at the age of 17. Right. So there are four personalities are there again from physics who got rather who could be the youngest one. I know one thing, that Lawrence Bragg. So it was 25 years, 31 years, 31 years, 32 years, likewise. Right. So earlier, these were the different names which had been the youngest one, but from 2014, this is the youngest one. So here there are different categories, or there are different pairs if you consider the Nobel laureates. So if you consider the couples, so yes, there are couples who got the Nobel Prize. For sake of information, so Marie Curie and Pierre Curie. So most of you might have learned something in your science book. So Marie Curie and Pierre Curie. So this was the couple. Now this couple was having a daughter called Anne Joliette Curie. In fact, it was Anne Curie. And this Ion Curie had married with the student of this particular couple, or a student of this pair, and the name of that is Frederick Joliet. Okay, here E, Frederick Joliet. So Frederick was working in the lab of Marie Curie, and Irene used to come to the lab again. After finishing her studies, she started to work on the same thing on which, in fact, Frederick was working, and both started. Frederick and Irene started to work under Marie Curie, and later on, after a few years, again this pair got a Nobel Prize, and I think they were also married. So this has again a kind of couple. So here you can find out one more pair called the mother and daughter, right? But as such, both have not worked simultaneously. So here for this particular case, we have to go for another thing. So here you have a couple, here you have a mother-daughter. Likewise, there is a father and son. There is a, again, father and daughter, father and daughter. So these are the different, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and one more we can consider is brothers. So in each of these category, you will be finding out the Nobel laureates, right? So I will just, since I have written here names, and so sake of the information, I will be writing so some of the names. Let's say father and son. Father and son. So who is there? Again from physics, William Bragg, the father, and the Lawrence Bragg. So very important. Fine. So Lawrence Bragg. Fine. So William Bragg and Lawrence Bragg. So in this case, if we consider, so these were the father and the son, as I said, one of the cases. So herein you can have another pair, as I said, say father and daughter. So in this case, again, as I said, Marie Curie and Irene Joliet Curie, right? So this could be the case for mother-daughter Marie Curie, Irene, right? And now I will be writing last one, brothers. So Jan Timbergun and Nicholas Timbergun, right? So this could be the way which you can consider the different Nobel Prize winning personalities, right? So now let's come to the amount of this particular prize. Amount of this particular price, right? So if I consider the price, so it is around 9 million Swedish kroner. So I think capital SEK. It is Swedish kroner. So you can put it on Google for how much in rupees, right? So 9 million Swedish krona. So this is the amount of the particularly for full Nobel Prize, right? So why I'm calling full? Because it can be shared. It can be shared to two people, three peoples, likewise, right? So here I will be writing the society, the academies or the Nobel Prize awarding institutions. So who is looking for which kind of subject? So first, physics, chemistry, as I said earlier, physics, chemistry, and economics sciences. Economics sciences. So for this, the Royal Swedish Academy, Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences, who is looking for. So for each of the years, who will be the winner or who will be the prize or to whom the Nobel Prize of that particular year to be conferred, right? So it will be always looked by the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences for physics, chemistry, and economic sciences. Now, second subject which you can consider, second category, that is physiology. Or you can consider the medicine, right? Physiology or medicine. And it is being looked up by the Nobel Assembly at Karolinski Institute. Karolinska Institute. So the Nobel Assembly at Karolinska Institute. So, right. So this could be the thing, right? So it is for the physiology or the medicine. Now, literature. Literature. So the Swedish Academy is looking for the Nobel Prize in the literature, and the last one is the peace. And for peace, the Norwegian Nobel Committee. Norwegian Nobel Committee is looking for the Nobel Prize in peace. So this is about these different subjects or the 6 different categories for which the Nobel Prize is being conferred, right? So this is about 6 different things. Now, it is a very vast subject or very vast field, and we don't have a business with each of every details, but we must always think about the Nobel Prize and India. So who are the Nobel laureates of India or Indian origin, right? So very first we can consider, right? So from India or Indian origin, right? So very first one that I think already in one of the questions we have gone through. Still, I will be writing it here so that you will be having all together, right? So it is Rabindranath Tagore For what? See, it was being conferred in 1910. Sorry, it was not 1910. Exactly, conferred in 1913. In 1910, one of the British poets had translated the Tagore's Gitanjali, right, into English. And after 3 years, that English translation got the Nobel Prize for literature, right? So this is the Tagore's Gitanjali's Nobel Prize in literature, that is in 1913. Fine. So that you can consider. Second one, here in CV Raman, right? CV Raman. So no doubt it is in physics. So he got Nobel Prize in 1930, and it was for his discovery of very important effect called Raman effect, right? So the discovery of Raman effect. So second Nobel Prize awardee from India we can consider is CV Raman, right, for discovery of the Raman effect. Next we can consider is the third one, right? We can consider here is the Hargobind Khorana. Hargobind Khurana. Now, if you see the Hargobind Khurana, so he got awarded the Nobel Prize in 1968 for the field of medicine. It is for medicine, right? For interpretation of genetic of the genetic code. It is for the interpretation of genetic code and its function in protein synthesis, right? It is for protein synthesis, genetic code and protein synthesis. So I think this was third one. Now fourth we can consider. Fine. Now fourth one is Mother Teresa. Fourth one is Mother Teresa. So obviously this is a peace prize, or this is for the peace which was given in 1979, right? A peace prize or peace Nobel Prize, right? For what? For her humanitarian work with the humanitarian work with the poor people, right? So this one is the fourth personality of getting this particular. The next we can consider is Subramaniam Chandrasekhar. Yes, Chandrasekhar, right? Yes, Chandrasekhar. So he got this particular prize in 1983 for physics, right? Indian origin personality. So this is for the theoretical studies of what? Of the physical processes of the importance to the structure and evolution of the stars, right? Structure and evolution or evaluation of stars, right? So this is the fifth personality of the Nobel Prize or the Nobel laureate, right, of Indian origin for physics in 1983. But I think it was shared with the Nobel laureate from US. I think his name was William Alfred. So it was equally shared. Fine. So equally shared by a USA Nobel laureate William Alfred. Okay. Alfred Fowler. Now, next, sixth one, which we can consider is no doubt Amartya Sen. Very recent one we can consider, that is in 1998. And this is awarded for in the field of economics or economic sciences for the contribution to welfare economics, right? For contribution to welfare economics. And next we can consider is the VSP Naipaul. VSP Naipaul